This is Dabu7. It looks like we have another massive outage here across the country. This time it's involving X, AWS, Cloudflare, a few others here. I'm not sure if it's a targeted attack on AWS that's affecting X or what's happening, but we've been seeing a lot of these outages. People are yelling beta tests all over. If you guys are experiencing any issues, let me know in the comment section and let me know where you're seeing this at. Atlanta, Tampa, New York. And you can see Houston and Dallas on the map on the left, lit up in red. Spots like Toronto, maybe Memphis, Cincinnati. I don't see any red around those areas. Maybe they're a little bit better, maybe not. Again, let me know in the comment section if you guys are experiencing this. The last time out, it was Verizon. You can see they're at the top of the list here, but I don't see a spike as of yet. If you try to get on Twitter, at least in my area, it was not connecting at all, which was rather odd, throwing a white page. Now you can load up the background page, but wheels are spinning and it just says retry. So something's going on there. Not sure why Verizon has been moved to the top, but not showing a spike. We'll keep an eye on that. And I would have a backup plan with friends and family in terms of communication and a meetup spot. Because one of these days, they're going to pull the plug on all this, and people are not going to be able to communicate with friends and family. You're going to want to have a plan. All right? It's getting closer, it seems. But this is the latest here.
This is your K2 News Morning Minute. It's Friday. A powerful 6.0 magnitude earthquake struck off the Oregon coast last night just before 7:30. The USGS says no one was hurt and there were no immediate reports of damage. The quake was in the Blanco fracture zone, about 180 miles west of Bandon. USGS says the earthquake happened at a shallow depth of 6 miles, but no tsunami was generated. This area is no stranger to seismic activity, and lots of people along the Oregon coast reported they did feel the quake. Today is the deadline for SNAP recipients in some Oregon counties to replace food lost during the storms last month. ODHS has extended the deadline for those impacted during power outages. Multnomah and Clackamas are just two of dozens of counties that qualify. For more information on how to request SNAP replacement benefits, contact ODHS. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and it's going to be a great weekend ahead weather-wise.
Did you feel it? Not everyone could. We're talking about the powerful magnitude 6.0 earthquake felt just about 183 miles west of the Bandon, Oregon area. No tsunami threats as the sun was shining up and down the Oregon coastline. But this a relatively strong earthquake compared to what we typically see, because this is an area that is prone to seeing this sort of seismic activity. Now we're just left with about 51 people being able to actually feel it inland as it just fades off into another Pacific Ocean.
Tonight, some of Minnesota's tribal chairpersons are taking unprecedented action to prevent federal agents from entering reservations. This is happening as community members say ICE was unlawfully detaining 4 Native American men. One has since been released. Jennifer Hoff met with leaders who say they're providing security and conducting patrols to keep their people safe.
Community can often provide comfort in crisis, but Wambly Olatapi is also responding
to stand with them, unite,
to a growing resistance, he says, against ICE agents in Minneapolis.
That's why we're here, because they can't do that.
A member of the American Indian movement, Olatapi is from the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota, one of several tribes here providing patrols and security.
It's all a big scare tactic. It's a big bully system right now. And they're trying to scare the people into doing what they want.
It comes after the community reported agents recently detained 4 homeless Oglala Sioux members near this East Franklin Bridge. And no one knows where they are still, including Minnesota Senator Mary Kunesh, a member of the Native American Caucus.
We're kind of at a standstill with DHS.
The state has 11 federally recognized tribes, and detaining enrolled members is unlawful and violates binding treaties, according to Leech Lake Tribal Chairman Farron Jackson.
It kind of seems really appalling and kind of somewhat backwards if you're going to call any indigenous person from any tribe, an immigrant. We consider ourselves the first people.
The Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe chairman even issued this new executive order requiring ICE consult with the band's government before entering or operating on tribal land.
I'm not against checking immigration status, but we have to do it in a more civil and humane manner.
That chaos playing out just blocks away from where people are gathering donations. Police tape surrounding a scene Jane Malafont knows all too well.
I am sick to my stomach of what is happening.
Just trying to deliver food, Malafont says it's not uncommon for unmarked vehicles to follow her into what she says are vulnerable communities, as any kind of law enforcement only adds to the uncertainty.
There was no way to differentiate who was there, who was watching. Nothing was clear at all.
Left to rely on one another, hoping history doesn't repeat itself.
We don't belong anywhere else but here.
Now, we sent multiple emails to the Department of Homeland Security asking about the men who are reportedly detained. DHS did not respond to us in particular, but in a statement to the Washington Post has said that it has no record of those tribal members. Senator Kunesh reminding Indigenous people right now to be wearing their tribal ID at all times and to be sure, Janet, that they're also carrying their enrollment papers.
Just the fact that, as that man said, talking about Native Americans having to wear ID, it doesn't make sense in the head.
And usually they wear them in their wallets like we would a driver's license. Okay. But in this case now, many of them are wearing them on lanyards across their neck to make sure that they are there and visible.
All right.
Clear the property now. We're out here right now. Move forward. Clear the road now. Everybody back up, off the road, off the road. Elected officials, everybody off the road. Everybody off the road. Los arrestó. I don't know elected officials.
You're so fucking annoying. I'm really God damn.
Back up a little bit. Back up a little bit. Get some space. Back up a little bit. That's Charlie King. That's Charlie. That's Charlie. The brothers got swallowed.
And allow traffic to go through.
That's what traffic goes through. That's what traffic goes through. Hey, Ginger boy, it's okay to get Ginger. No, I'm not talking you. There's another Nazi Ginger.
Allow the Nazis to get into the circle.
I'm not talking about the security one.
They're going to get more mad if they can't hug each other.
That's the content,
with their mouths.
That's the first weirdo. It's okay to get Ginger boy. That's the bad. And that's the first of the one you. Your mother shall swallowed. Your mother shall swallowed.
Mom shall swallowed.
You shall have a nation abortion.
Líderes tribales van a tratar de sacar.
It's okay. Oh, wow.
Agua, soda, les dan refresco, les traen comida. We'll try to be talking to them when we come back out.
And one of them has been released, but they couldn't locate the other three. So the council members here they're all elected officials of the Oglala Sioux tribe, and they gained access to the facility and they couldn't find their 3 tribal members. They claim that they're not classifying them by their nationality, which tribal members are also citizens of the United States since 1924. You know, there's nobody more American than American Indians. But they were unable to find them here today. And so they're going to continue on. They don't understand that we are America. How could you possibly target Native Americans and with immigration and customs enforcement officers and then imprison us? That is impossible. It's legally impossible to do that.
Today, I ask the world to do 6 things. First, protect the Iranian people by degrading the regime's repressive capacity, including targeting the Islamic Revolutionary Guard leadership and its command and control infrastructure. Second, deliver and sustain maximum economic pressure on the regime, block their assets worldwide, target and dismantle their fleet of ghost tankers. Third, break through the regime's information blockade by enabling unrestricted internet access. Deploy Starlink and other secure communications tools widely across Iran, and conduct cyber operations to disable the regime's ability to shut down the internet. Fourth, hold the regime accountable by expelling its diplomats from your capitals and pursue legal enforcement actions against those responsible for crimes against humanity. Fifth, demand the immediate release of all political prisoners. Sixth, prepare for a democratic transition in Iran by committing to recognize a legitimate transitional government when the moment comes. Supporting the Iranian people is not an act of charity, nor is it unwarranted interference. Global stability itself depends on the removal of this regime. Its 47 years of exported terror, nuclear threats, and regional chaos must end. This does not require putting boots on the ground. The Iranian people's boots are already on the ground. They are the ones marching, sacrificing, and fighting for their freedom every single day. What they need from the world is resolute, targeted support to protect lives, amplify their voices, and hasten the collapse that is already underway. But let me be clear, with or without the world's help, the regime will fall. It will fall sooner, and more lives will be saved if the world turns its words into action.
Ruthless Iranian regime leaders are now ordering their own children to slaughter innocent civilians, a commander's distraught daughter revealed as she sobbed in a gut-wrenching interview on Thursday.
شاهدم که چه جنایت‌هایی فقط پدر خود من کرده.
فاطمه جان
الان دستور میده بکشین. من کجا بیام؟ من عکس دارم، فیلم دارم، مدارک دارم.
The woman broke down on Persian media outlet Manitou TV as she said leaders are giving them batons, electric batons, guns to go and kill fellow citizens, adding her father has ordered her to kill. They are killing their own children, suppressing them, she said of the regime's commanders. The daughter, who said she has been beaten in the past for being involved in anti-regime protests, fears she could be next for speaking out about her father's brutality. My father might kill me, maybe they might find out, the daughter said. More than 2,600 Iranians have been killed amid the regime's brutal crackdown on protesters, according to the US-based human rights activist news agency on Thursday. Other sources, meanwhile, estimate that as many as 12,000 to 20,000 people have been killed, CBS News reported. The full extent of the crackdown against the protesters has yet to be independently verified, following a near total internet blackout in Iran, with the country's connectivity to the outside world having plummeted to roughly 1% of normal levels, according to NetBlocks. On January 14th, President Trump revealed in the Oval Office that after numerous explicit warnings to the Islamic Republic, he had been notified that the killing in Iran had stopped.
We've been told that the killing in Iran is stopping. It's stopped. It's stopping. And there's no plan for executions or executions. So I've been told that on good authority. We'll find out about it.
However, the following day, sources told the Post that the ruthless slaughter had only stopped because of the enormous death toll, and that residents were being held hostage in their homes by machine gun-wielding security forces that have flooded the streets. There are no protests anymore because of massive killings. With 12,000 dead, people are terrified, one local said, referencing the higher estimated death toll from activist groups. The mass killings and mobilization of security forces suppressed the demonstrations, with many too afraid to set foot outside, the sources said. The violent government crackdown on the Iranian people comes amid weeks of nationwide unrest and widespread protests, sparked by the country's crumbling economy. It has become the largest anti-government demonstrations in years, with thousands taking to the streets, turning their ire against the ruthless regime that has held power since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Disturbing footage has also emerged of grief-stricken families in Iran searching through rows of piling dead bodies amid the uprising, in what human rights groups have warned is a state-sponsored massacre in progress. President Trump, for his part, has threatened U.S. military force against the authoritarian regime, while Iran has warned that such actions would lead to Iran deeming the U.S. military and Israel as legitimate targets. On January 13th, Trump refused to back down, urging the people of Iran to continue protesting.
And by the way, to all Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions if possible. And I've canceled all meetings with the Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. And all I say to them is help is on its way.
Conflicts are raging across the world. The nuclear threat still remains very real. However, a significant milestone which augurs well for peace has been achieved this week. The world has now gone the longest time without a nuclear test since the dawn of the nuclear age on the 16th of July 1945. On that fateful day, the Americans conducted the first ever nuclear test in New Mexico, leading up to atomic bombs that the Americans dropped on Japan, the only time any nation has dropped nuclear weapons on another country. The world's last nuclear test was conducted by North Korea, and that was done in September 2017. The previous longest period without a test was from 1998 till October 2006, when North Korea had conducted its first nuclear test. So let's look at the status of nuclear testing globally. Overall, 2,056 nuclear tests have been done. The US accounts for over half of these, with 1,030 nuclear explosions. Russia ranks second with 715 tests. Its last official test of a nuclear bomb happened in October 1990. Europe is not far behind in the nuclear race. For instance, France has carried out 210 nuclear explosions, followed by the United Kingdom that carried out 45 nuclear explosions. China has become the first country to become a nuclear power in Asia. India and Pakistan joined the club later and faced Western sanctions for their 1998 nuclear tests. However, the recent moves of US and Russia have reignited fears of nuclear test resumption. The American President Donald Trump has stirred a hornet's nest last year when he instructed the US Department of War to begin testing nuclear weapons. He justified this move by accusing China, Russia and Pakistan of conducting clandestine tests. This had triggered an immediate counter-reaction from Russia. President Putin told Kremlin officials to draft proposals for possible resumption of nuclear weapons testing.
As I stated in the address to the Federal Assembly in 2023, if the United States or other states parties to the relevant treaty conduct such tests, then Russia must also take appropriate reciprocal actions.
The numbers depict the situation's gravity, and according to SIPRI, Russia is the world's largest stockpile of nuclear weapons with over 4,300 warheads, whereas the United States has 3,700 weapons. The possible lapse of the START Treaty, which limited the nuclear warheads that the United States and Russia can deploy to 1,550, is a cautionary tale. The nuclear danger is far from over.